Hi everyone. In this video I wanted to review some of the spacing in your Project 2A resume file. You can see here I'm looking at the print preview of the file, and one of the nice things about using a table is that when we hide all of the grid lines, we can't see those, but we see everything formatted really nicely. So part of this exercise was to learn how to use spacing before and after paragraphs to help you have nice consistent spacing. Okay, so I'm going to go back into the regular document, and you can see here that I can see all my non-printing characters, so I have clicked on the show hide button. I also have my rulers on. So one of the things that, again, you want to be very careful about is it's more accurate to use the spacing rather than just pressing the enter key. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the layout tab up here. And in this area, you can see here's the spacing and then before and after. So let's go through the document and we can kind of see what's going on. So towards the end of the document, they have you click in this first line anywhere, and they have you put 18 points of spacing before this line. So that's what makes this space right here. I can't click up there. You can see I can't click up there. It's just the spacing that's taking up that area. So you should have 18 points of spacing before. Let's click on the second line. This one I have 18 points of spacing after. So just make sure you're looking up here, to make sure that you know which one you're using, either before or after. So I have that spacing as well. Then in each one of our boxes, you need to have 18 points of spacing after the last paragraph. So you can see here, if I click here, so I'm just keeping an eye on my ribbon up here in the after box. If I click on the very last item here, you can see 18 points. Same thing with this one. I'm going to click down here. I have 18 points of spacing. I'll come back to these in a second. I have 18 points on this one and even 18 points down here. So using this method, again, gives you a really nice consistent look to your document. If you're using the enter key and you're changing like font sizes, sometimes that can throw it off because the font size can change the spacing. So you really want to try to use this spacing before and after if you're going for a look like this. Okay, so the other thing, in between these paragraphs, you can see I click inside of this last line of just this paragraph. They had you do 12 points of spacing after. So they didn't want quite as much spacing in between the paragraphs within one of our items here as the 18. So if I click here, there's also 12 points of spacing. The other thing that I did want to point out is all of the bulleted items are flush with the left side of the each one of our cells. So if you have a bullet, let's say that somehow got moved, let's say I'm just going to move this guy over a little bit and I'll move him over. If you have something that got moved, remember you can use your Format Painter button found on the Home tab. If I click inside of this line that has the correct formatting and I click on my Format Painter button, and now I come over to this line, you can see my cursor changes into that little paintbrush, and if I select that line, it goes here. Now I did lose my spacing because this one doesn't have spacing, so just be careful. Sometimes you're picking up other spacing that or formatting that you're not aware of, but I just went ahead and put the 12 back in by going back to the layout tab and then putting in the 12 points after. So just kind of keep an eye out for all of your spacing in the document, as well as the alignment of all of your bulleted items. If you do have like some areas where you had pressed the enter key instead of just using the spacing afterwards, just click to the left of whatever you have put in. Let's say I came over here and I pressed enter and I had a new, let's see, there we go. If I had that, I could just go ahead and press the backspace key to get rid of that extra, where you might have pressed enter. Okay, so I hope that this is helpful to you for this particular project. Again, it's the Project 2A resume file. Thanks so much. Take care.